if And for the 47,000th time in a row, I forgot to close the fourth window down, so it just shows up in the intro. But I am the technological mastermind named Brad, Old Manchester, and I have some fine folk with me.
Where are they?
One's above you. Sean, tell them who you are.
I'm Sean Rice. Got my own channel, Dice with Rice. I'm here to talk some fantastic previews tonight.
Some Knights?
Yeah.
And I'm Brian Horton to plug the Salt City GT.
As I'm Brad to plug everything. Please let me keep surviving. You know, this Knights reveal was pretty boss mode, dudes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
shit went down. You know what? Well, I'm going to scroll down here a little bit because, like, even their basic deal is pretty boss mode. The chivalric code. So I love this because you select one of the oaths before to act, to be active for your army, and then models from your army's ability gain the associated oath ability and gain the associated deed, which is awesome because you get to complete it. If at the start of any of your command phases you selected oath's deed is completed, your army becomes honored for the rest of the battle. And you gain 3 CP, which is pretty badass. That also.
Yeah.
But, like, first off, the oath ability of each time the model selected shoot or fight, reroll a hit roll of 1 and reroll a wound roll of 1. Pretty beast mode, especially when you're probably wounding everything on a 2. It's, I don't know, maybe you're strength 20 with your hand-to-hand attacks because you've been working out. And then the deed is complete if the enemy warlord is destroyed. Now, that's tougher with a lot of different armies if you have like a buff character that's not really going to get in the shit. I do like Reclaim the Realm quite a bit. Add 1 inch to this model's move characteristic and to add 1 inch to advance and charge rolls. That is so badass if you're playing, you want to try to moving those knights along. You're playing like one of the Armiger lists where everybody's trying to go kick some ass. And then the deed is completed if you control 1 or more objective markers in your opponent's deployment zone, which is just not that hard. So pretty sweet.
I mean, without seeing everything for Knights and not seeing if they have a way to do a lot of extra objective control, they look pretty strong.
I mean, like, they have dudes that are 8 objective control. That's just legit.
You got your virtuous right off the bat from the previous book, and that is just unbelievable to get right out the gate.
Right. I mean, you have to have like a gang of people. And the thing is that we haven't seen whether we're going to have like we can make Death Stars because they said it a little bit. Maybe we can, but like, it looks like you're going to have a lot of armies that are just going to bring a ton of shit and try to abuse things like Oath of Moment. And that dude just standing there with 8, that's crazy time. You know what I mean? That's just good.
Well, and then let alone as you go down, the detachment rule below it is the part I think that actually makes it even more boss mode.
This is crazy time. Just having the entire army just have a 6-up Final Pain and then a 5-up if you get honored. What? Paint Celestine! I love that name.
Yeah, the 5-up is just crazy town. I mean, when you've got so many wounds, you're just going to tank so much that it's just going to be too much to deal with. And we actually forgot to talk about one of the best parts, which is I believe you choose if you want the reroll 1s or the advance and charge, like in the game. Like,
yeah, let's scroll back up.
You see the mission and you do that. And that's a huge boon.
At the end of the read missions objective step. So basically that is a per game ability, which is pretty strong to talk about whether you want some nice shooting rerolls and for consistency, or you want that extra move and charge, which just gets you there with a quickness.
I mean, especially if you have a mission where there's 2 objectives in your deployment zone, in your opponent's deployment zone, that becomes just an amazing reclaim, because that means they have to split their army and defend 2 objectives to prevent you from going bonkers. That's really good.
I mean,
Yeah, and one of the things that I picked up on was killing their warlord usually is kind of difficult, but if we're sinking these warlords into other units, now they're going to have a choice. Do they hold this massive brick of guys back so you don't get 3 CP and a 5-up feel no pain? Or are they just going to play the game normally and hope you don't kill it? Because now you're presenting that to your opponent every time you sit down against knights.
there's a big thing on the wall here. KR and Connor both throw it on. You can choose the precision hit with, or possibly Rex, and Connor's like, we'll go down to Canis Rex here in a second. He can use a strat even if it's already been used before, and then you just go into that warlord's unit with double tank shock and roll a bucket of dice, and it's up to 6 mortals, and then you do it twice. Whoo! That could be tasty.
The tank shock with a walker still kind of in my head bugs me, but it's a vehicle.
Bro, it's not even tank shocking. It's just running up to somebody, roadhouse, bam. So I do love some of the overkill in strikes and stuff. Let's go down to a couple of these units. Should we skip the Armiger and just go strike the Canis because he's nuts?
Oh, Canis. Give me Canis. We can go back. We can
Fine,
go back.
we're going to go back to the Armiger.
Man.
We're going to talk about Canis. One, I want to talk about the fact that there's no way, if you don't model this with a giant America's flag, his weapon is called Freedom's Hand and it's strength 20. What? I'm about to bring you some freedom, baby.
and oh wait, AB3 damage 9. Damage 9. No beating around the bush
Look,
with
man,
this. Slap it dead.
Canis isn't using the jab, all right? He's only throwing big right hands.
Yeah, it's haymakers all day. He's got 5 attacks. He's giving you haymakers. That's it. I think that
and let alone has sustained hits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everything. You keep looking at something and it keeps having sustained hits. It's the more you read.
Yeah.
It's just so nuts. The fact that, dude, like, let's look at some of his shit though. The chain breaker, if you put it on low intensity, it's got sustained hits 1, but it's also blast, which means again, blast for every 5 guys you get an extra hit. An extra shot. So like he's got sustained hits on those. That's just nuts when he's shooting into big groups. You're like, oh, you got a 30-man blob? Cool. I'm going to take 6 extra shots on my 2d6 plus 6, and every 6 is another. Okay. I like Sean looking super tiny.
Oh, am I tiny on there? Do I need to?
You're basically at the very bottom of the screen. You look like you're trying to peek up and see what the adults are eating at their table.
I'm just coming down to your level, man.
See, I'm good with it. I pan the camera down because I want to look tall. Yes.
But yeah,
I do like, yes, Zoobs basically goes, Canis is basically pulling the "this is Sparta" on people with this is strength 20 attacks.
Yeah.
He's also got nutbag rules. Like, one, I mean, he's just got a D6 attack with a strength 14 gun that does 4 damage. But like the legendary Freeblade, once a turn, you can target this model with a stratagem for 0 CP, which is a good amount of CP to spend. And can do even if you have already targeted a different unit with the stratagem in the same phase. That's why we're talking the double tank shock. We're going to obviously see this is going to be a bigger deal when you get the Knight Codex itself, if he's the same way. Because then you're doubling down on, because historically Knights have had some crazy stratagems that have been costly. So he is a character, yes. So you should definitely finish your Knight Army after I saw this preview. Man, I can't read micro. It's true. That's why you just make it huge on your screen. Also, each time this model makes an attack, an unmodified successful hit roll of a 5 scores a critical hit. That is just auto wound? No, I thought that's lethal hits.
It's 5s to... So he's got 5s to hit explode everywhere. On all shooting, all combat, his 5s explode.
Yep.
And...
he is 33% more shooty.
I love the fact that he's also Canis Rex, epic hero.
And he has the towering rule, which makes it. We finally get to see a model with it.
With towering, yes,
nice.
where you can't stay behind the scurrying.
Yep.
This is it. This is the release power every faction should have gotten. You know, I actually love. This is actually why we're going to go into some other stuff with the weapon spotlight and everything else. But I love this spot. Not only was it good, but like they showed a named character, they showed a unit, they showed relevant shit for everything that the Knights have.
Yep.
This gives an A+ for a reveal. The rest of the book might be completely trashed here, but this reveal is awesome.
Yep. I'm just digging the Thunder Coil Harpoon. It's like, oh, on a 4+ to wound, it becomes a devastating wound against monsters and vehicles, and just take 12 mortals.
Yeah, that seems good. So, I mean, I just want to roll a bunch of 6s so I can literally get like 80 damage on something. I mean, if he hits and wounds and it goes through, I mean, his base attacks do 45 damage. So that just sounds so ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I'm going to have to piece this out. Hold on. I'm going to roll my feel no pains.
Yeah. Exercise and futility as the freedom hand just comes and gets America's freedom going.
Exactly. Freedom. Oh, man.
Now I'm really looking forward to Monday, where we get to see Chaos Knights.
Yeah. Oh, if you don't have something that's the equivalent of Freedom's Hand, with him with a big American flag behind him and an eagle perched on his weapon. So, like, this dude should just look like Peacemaker. That's all I'm saying. Just Freedom's Hand. All right, fine. I'm going back to the Armiger. I had to talk about Canis, though. Still legit stats, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Armiger? Oh, yeah. Armiger's got pretty much everything that was on my checklist of how do I keep all of the great parts of the Armigers now and just port them over. They did get A+. I mean, they're no Canis Rex, but
yeah, but like,
I mean, they got everything.
Dude, you know the crazy thing that I was looking at? The heavy stubber. Dude, that's rapid fire 3.
Yeah.
That's just a lot, man. It's got a 36-inch range. So you get within 18, you're just like, shit's about to go down from my random chud weapon. That is not what Eldar want to see. Oh, stop it.
Yeah, especially if list composition remains kind of the same. You know, you got 10 Armigers over there. That means, you know, you got 60 of those shots coming in from a Knight army. Like, that's nuts.
That's so many. Also, I love the fact that their rule, the Impetuous Glory, each time this model makes a charge move until the end of the turn, melee weapons equipped by this model have the sustained hits 1. Exploding 6s, man, that's legit. You know what I mean? Especially if you're looking at the sweep attacks, and that's just 8 attacks. You're getting an extra explosion 1 or 2. Whew. Fully automatic battle cannon. I definitely would like that more. That is so much better than rapid fire battle cannon. Heavy stubbers will do things now. If you roll enough dice, it will always work out for you. That's my motto in life. Roll 100%. A bucket of dice, shit will go down. So,
all right. So the rapid fire battle cannon, which somewhere got popped there, rapid fire at 72 inches.
Sometimes you just got to do it.
Pretty much, if you're on the board, you're gonna almost be in half range. I don't know, 95% of the time. So you're gonna get 2d6 plus 3.
Plus 6, I think, right?
Or is it plus 6?
I think it adds both.
I don't know. I gotta reread. I gotta.
Yeah,
reread the
a lot of these things, because they don't say choose right away, are getting me. I'm like, do I get to add these together? I want to see what you can actually add on to a lot of these.
Well, it does say the rapid fire rule, if I remember correctly from one of the earlier previews, did say double the number of shots at half range.
Correct.
So that would be 2d6 plus 6. Right?
Yeah. I like that the thermal spear is actually a good strength. Like a lot of the other melta-guns, like the regular melta-gun are still strength 9, the thermal spear going to 12. Means that it's still going to wound a lot of the vehicles on a 3.
How about the thermal sphere doing 4 plus d6 damage in half range?
I mean,
Whew.
that also seems legit.
You just walk up, goodbye. Just anything. I mean,
Yeah, the melt. I love that the melter rule is just half range, and you add whatever the number is. Like, hey, D6 plus 4. It's like it's the same reason that eradicators of heavy melter rifles are disgusting. Now you've got that on a knight. You're like, hey, let me roll this out for you, and you're dead. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we got to keep in mind when we're looking at all this. Is same thing with the stubbers. I mean, how many warglaives have knights traditionally taken? Because you're taking that many heavy thermal spears everywhere. So I mean, that's so much firepower coming down.
I mean,
my big bugs cry a little bit.
So it's not double on that. So rapid fire X is plus X shots at half range. So yes. So the rapid fire 3 means they get it is double for them, but yes, it would just be 3 extra shots.
Oh, okay. I had to look at it. Again, I didn't remember what rapid fire was.
Anna came in dropping knowledge on us. Did a quick sortie knowledge bomb as she drove past.
Oh, okay. I didn't see the D6 plus 3 spot there. Yeah. Thanks, Anna. Appreciate it.
So that's true.
That's just so crazy.
They do show the dread, and then immediately spoil 4 weapons from knights that make the dread look childish. The dread did really come in going, hey Dad, look what I can do. Yay!
That's
He's
nice.
like, you're the best, Jimmy.
Hey, everybody's got to have somebody to look up to. You know,
The Dread Knight just runs in and goes, yay, I'm here! And the Knight goes, no, you're not.
Boot.
And boom goes the dynamo.
I don't know. I dig this. You know what? Let's go down to the weapon spotlight, and then we'll pop back up all over the place because we got 2 of them. We've got the Thunder Coil Harpoon, which said, you know what? Special rules. I heard that the Death Guard had all of them on their guns, so screw you. I'm going to put it on everyone. Anti-monster 4, anti-vehicle 4, devastating wounds, which means that if you're shooting a monster or a vehicle, any 4 plus to wound is a mortal wound. Also, it's only 1 shot, but and this is again one of those overkill like shit weapons. Strength 24, AP 6, damage 12. Because fuck you if you get hit by the harpoon. Also,
when was the last time we saw one of these on a table?
Never.
Never.
I didn't. Actually, that's a lie. Sneaks put it on one time, and I go, did you just like screw around and put that on? I thought he just was doing a conversion. He's like, no, this is an actual weapon. Yes, exactly. It's the death curse of Hanukkah Gaddafi. All I want to do is shoot something from like extra close range, like just go boom, because you could fire it at combat. That's what I want to do. Harpoon into melee. Oh, so yeah, man. Sometimes you got to do 12 damage because you were jealous of Freedom's hand dropping freedom on people. So you're like, hold on, hold my beer. I'm gonna shoot this harpoon. You're like, what are you guys, like orcs? I love that there's a harpoon in from the year 41,000. You're just like, what? You're like, yeah, we can make this work.
And on a model that, we're guessing is probably going to move around 10 inches is my guess for that. That's pretty damn good. 18-inch range, you're just there.
That is true. Fucking the fact that you can just do all of the mortals is pretty legit too. Because this thing does devastating. Let's talk about devastating wounds real quick. Devastating wounds do the damage in mortals instead, correct?
Correct.
So I'm not gonna lie. On a 4+, I get 12 mortals. That seems better than killing one guy.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing that out there.
Hammerheads blush.
Yes.
It's like, you just look at this and go, I'm just going to shoot that Space Marine right there. And it's going to go through him, through all his buddies.
I love that you just care. Goes, I seriously just bought a Freedom Rings, bro. Yes. I mean, yeah. Captain Ahab, I would 100% want to see that on there. Oh, Pate Celestine coming in harsh. Would you say devastating wounds are devastating?
Oh, man.
This is the kind of comedy I like. Hoo-hoo!
I like hunting the great white squig. That's a good one. I fan.
But seriously though, like the fact that they put the keywords on it, you're looking at it. At first, I looked at it and I was like, "Yeah, one shot does a bunch of damage. Whenever you kill one guy." Then I was like, "Wait a second, devastating wounds does the damage in mortals, right?" That seems real shitty. You are really sweating out the wound roll if you have a squad of guys. You're like, "All right, you shot my infiltrator unit. I'm either going to pick up one guy or I'm going to pick up the squad and somebody they know." Like, actually,
Yeah.
if they keep the Helix Gauntlet, no one dies or the whole squad dies on a 4-up.
Oh man, and it's we're talking about making the Tau Hammerheads blush. I mean, this hits on a 2 and can potentially reroll on a 1, so it's not like you're theoretically like, oh, is this going to happen?
Does it only have devastating wounds on the things that it's anti? I thought devastating wounds were.
No, it's just anything of the 6.
Yeah, so it'd be a 6. I mean, it
Yeah.
wouldn't be a 4-up on regular Joes, but it still has devastating wounds.
Yeah, because it's
so a
anti-monster.
6. If you roll the 6 on dudes, yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, with squadrons of other things, vehicles, and monsters. Sorry, kill cans. If he rolls a 4-up, some shit's happening to your bros.
I want to see someone model that where they take one of the orc white squig rider guys and just impale it.
Mazrog. Oh, that is so worth it. I could see this happening. I'm gonna get Noah to do this. No, Noah has from out west literally has one of his knights, and I walked over and I'm like, "Do you have one of the like limited edition other models for use so you could destroy it and have your knight standing on it?" He's like, "Yes." I love everything about this. There is something poetic about harpooning a hammerhead. True story. And there is a chance that I don't know how to read. But I did read Devastating Wounds. So on a 6-up, dudes. On a 4-up, everybody else. Let's talk about, we already did talk about it, the rapid fire battle cannon. Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, so good. I know it's only AP1, but damn, I mean, it's just so many shots.
Yeah.
Damage 3 too.
I mean, it's damage 3, man. It's just picking up bros. I'll eat my own shoes if I play the harpoon during the whole edition of 10th. I will figure out a way to get you inebriated and make you play with this. And then we will be trying to figure out what the best recipe for shoes is.
Well, see, that's shoes that the judge wears from 6 in the morning until like 10 at night.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
Served
just
up on a
gross.
platter.
And that is true. Anna makes a good point. The Castellan has always outshone the Valiant. She goes, he is like the brother that actually has friends. The Valiant is the brother that the moms and everyone has to play with. Take your brother with you. Come on, Mom.
Paint Celestine very much. Cool Terminators, bro. They had 3 wounds apiece. Can you make a lot of 3-up saves?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's got a shit ton of shots. You're like, every fail is just a dude gone. Dude gone wrong. It's also blast. So again, bombing it into larger units is.
You had 10 Terminators, so I'm going to get in rapid fire range 2d6 plus 7.
All right, let's go to the stratagem because the stratagem's legit. Also, ready?
Oh yeah.
Win your command phase. One Imperial Knight model from your army that has lost 1 or more wounds. Effect: till the start of your next command phase, improve your model's move, toughness, save, leadership. But wait, there's more. And objective control characteristics by 1. And each time your model makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. You can only use this stratagem once per battle. If your army is honored, you can use the stratagem 1 additional time. And if you have Canis in your army, you can use it 1 more time. Well, I mean, that sounds.
No, you can still only, the restrictions still kick in there. Right.
I mean, he says you could use it something else, though, isn't it?
Right, but this specifically says in it you can use a stratagem once per battle.
Well,
It doesn't say that
hold
you
on.
can
I got to read his stuff now because I've been accused of not being able to read. I mean, if you
It says you can use a stratagem you already used. You wouldn't be allowed to use this one because it has a restriction.
see, I don't know about
But
that.
if you're honored, by all means, use it an additional time for 0 CP on Canis.
You're gonna be super bummed when you do that one wound to a knight, and he's like,
Oh yeah,
click, it's on, bitches.
yeah. This is devastating. If you try to kill a knight and it lives, and it's like, oh, that was cute. Watch this, and then they just hit you with everything. I mean, oh my god, move,
And
toughness.
It's not like when you degrade, you slow down now, right? So your speed stays the same. You're moving just as fast,
Dude,
and now you're
it's just-
moving just as fast.
Yeah, but it's also like move, toughness, save, leadership, objective control, +1 to hit. I mean, what? That seems like a lot.
It's I mean, it is 2 CP.
Yeah, but
So you're
man,
not
imagine
typically
we
doing
haven't
it on
even
the
seen the Castellan though. I'm just imagining your Castellan takes a wound and goes, "Nah, ain't going out like that," and pops this. It just goes absolutely bonkers town.
Yeah, I don't think 2CP is really a drawback here for what you get. I mean, compared to some of the
Yeah.
2CP strats now, if you could ask me what would a strat have to do, I would have made up something mythical like this strat to give you an example of what I want out of 2CP. Like, this is everything. I mean, it doesn't even leave anything on the table. You just get +1 to everything.
I mean, it seems legit. I like this strat. Let's go to trophy claim. Your shooting phase or the fight phase, which is the reason that it actually is cool. It's 1 CP, 1 Imperial Knights model from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight, and 1 enemy monster or vehicle unit. Until the end of the phase, each time your model makes an attack that targets that enemy unit, add 1 to the rune roll. If your model destroys the enemy unit this phase, you gain 1 CP because fuck you, I killed your model. But if your model does not destroy that enemy unit this phase, you cannot use the stratagem again for the rest of the battle. I kind of love the fact that you're all in on murdering something. My only thing is like, how often do you need +1 to wound? I guess when you're hitting other vehicles and shit. But I don't know how often Let Freedom Ring is going to need +1 to wound. Kadoosh! He ain't trying. I mean, I like this too. +1 to wound and a CP. I mean, that also sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, how often can you just pay a CP to get +1 for a wound currently?
I mean,
Yeah.
I've played chapters before specifically to have access to that strat.
Right.
So legit. I mean, I have to say, I'm going to look at the words from the studio. The fact that you get the 3 CP is a big deal. Let's scroll back up. We're gonna punk out and hang out with Canis for a second here. It was super. Yeah, this. Yeah, I like it. Kyle goes, I felt like I was living in the upside down watching other videos talking about Elder and how busted they will be. And then this spoiler drops and it's just the absolute sauce. You're not wrong, dude.
100%.
I read this morning. I was eating my eggs and I'm sitting here going, wait a minute. And I read it again because I'm like, I feel like I read that wrong because that seems nuts.
Well, it's like all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up with a bunch of the group chats. And I'm like, they were like, I have to go read the Night Codex, the Night Reveal. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't, I was like, all right, I'll go do that. And I scanned it really quick and went, it looks all right. And they were like, did you read or just kind of glance? I'm like, I don't have time to really read right now. They were like, go to the bathroom, sit down at work and read this. And I went, all right. And then I sat down and went, what the hell?
I mean, it's legit. Yeah, Knights do look like they're going to be strong. Yes, I love that. Oh boy, if there's ever a time I really don't want my Paragons to be vehicles. Yes, when you pop this strat and Freedom Hand is just going, dropping that freedom on you like nobody's business. Whew. Yeah, I mean, every one of these is like us. Again, I was talking about this the other day. I go, yeah, me telling, the reveal is pretty much like me telling you, oh, I know everything I need to know about your house by you opening the door while I was driving by in the street. So, so we only know a little, but this was a badass reveal. Okay. Like, this is everything I wanted from reveal. A cool named character, good weapon, not nonsense.
I mean, as we all know that all of these hype videos are to get us pumped to buy 10th edition to add to our armies. And I'm pretty sure that everyone that owns a knight army that doesn't own Canis and Rex today went to their local game store and went, "You got one of these kits on your shelf?"
Yeah, but do you
And
have the
then
little
$180 kit went out the door.
Do you have the little dude that pops out of him?
Yeah.
Is that still a thing?
I didn't see it on there.
Yeah, he pops out. You actually flip the card over, like the physical data sheet you flip over, and we haven't gotten to see it yet, but Sir Hector's still there and kicking around after Canis dies.
I was about to
so
say.
On top of everything awesome, you get a little guy when he dies too.
This makes me very excited.
His data sheet is on the back of. I see that there.
Yes. Yeah, you get
Missed
everything.
That. Oh, that's awesome.
You know, honestly, we get even more out of this reveal too, because they confirmed for us in the little notes that bondsman abilities still exist. They spoiled that paladins give out something called lance, which maybe somebody in the chat can help us with what lance is if they've revealed it, and then lethal hits as well. Gallants reroll hits and reroll charges, and Dominus do something about helping defend our other knights.
I do love the fact that we just previewed the Knights. We're talking about it. Somebody talked about how much they are, and KR immediately goes, $144.50 on eBay. I might know that. Oh, man. Paragons are going to collect more dust if the Knights are running around like this, going kaboom, whack-a-mole style again. I'm trying to figure out all the things you got to do now with Canis Rex. First off, he needs an American flag on him.
So apparently, the lance is +1.
Yeah,
the
lance keyword, yeah, is +1 to wound.
Yeah. +1 to wound on the charge.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, chat. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like Knights are still getting some pretty awesome rules from stuff we haven't seen.
The pip hand is strong. He definitely is keeping his pip hand strong. I mean, it is. I mean,
so wait, is that going to be the name of the knight? It's a pimp named Canis.
It's all freedom for me. He's all American. I'm telling you, he looks like Peacemaker from the Peacemaker show. He's going to have Eagly the Eagle on Freedom's hand with his American flag flowing behind him, just dropping freedom on people.
Oh, man.
I heard you needed some freedom here. Whoop-blam! I can't get past the strength 20. It's just so it's like, strength 20, damage 9. Like, what?
Yeah, this is gonna be you walking up to the table against the Knight's opponent and being like, "Can you run that back for me one more time? What are those numbers?" They're like, "Okay, that was funny, but can you tell me what the actual numbers are?" Yeah. Oh, you weren't kidding. Oh, I don't know how I deal with that. Yeah.
That's where you just hand them your card and go, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah. I mean, that's how a knight should feel when you walk up to the table. They should be the big bads.
Come on. We've got an even better thought for it. You need to convert his cockpit so it's like Mount Rushmore, featuring Gilliman, the lion, Call, and Canis at the peak of the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how is this not happening right now? Yes.
Mike goes, a Ric Flair robe.
I will literally play Knights if someone makes one of these guys that.
Zuber, I think that knight army that's sitting upstairs that's like kicking in my not done anything with pile, we might have a fun thing to do.
Man, if I can be styling, profiling, limousine riding, profiling. Why do I not have a Ric Flair clip ready to go? Woo! Oh, fuck. Exactly, Zoobs. Look at the hype for Canis. Where was Morty, the Avatar, etc.? We would have been nuts about those too, I bet. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. This might be the best preview. I don't even know it's the best rules preview, but it was the best excitement preview. This brought the heat. This was definitely some hot sauce, baby. It added the zest, the flavor. Hold on, I still got my Red Hot always next to me. It isn't the hottest of hot sauces, but I love this shit. So why is Red Hot not sponsored me yet? See, I would play a knight army for Ric Flair Knights. Yes, who wouldn't? That's my whole thing. And you would definitely have the speaker ready to go. So every time you moved a guy, it just went, woo!
as you were deploying, you had the music play, the dun, dun, dun,
Yes. Yes. Every night matchup should be mixed, terror along with pure awe as these things come out on the table every time.
When I was preparing for tonight, we were going to talk about, adjusting for 10th and talking about the night preview. I did not know that we were going to end up with Ric Flair Knights. And you know what? I'm not sad about this. Oh, good times.
All right. So preparing for 10th edition is where we're headed next. So we're going to look at it from two separate perspectives. We're going to look at it from the player perspective and from the TO perspective. So the first thing we want to talk about is preparing from the TO perspective. What do you do? Not Brad, because Brad just prays and armies show up for him.
Why aren't you doing those? I want to give you this. I literally sent Rhinosaurus Rex. I sent him a list, and I'm like, you should play this. And he's like, I don't. It's a World Eater list, and it had a pod in it. He's like, I don't have a pod. I'm like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. See, models mean nothing to me. Just to figure it out, somebody has this. You need this. Models. Who gets restricted by models they have? That's crazy talk.
But no, I mean that's one of the things. So, Mr. Rice, what do you do to prep for 10th? Do you start like looking at your depth of your collection, going, where do I need to expand in the hopes, or do you just kind of wait for it to drop?
Well, I mean, there's one thing that I particularly looked at so far, which is kind of the the list of codexes and what's going to come out and what's not, because that's going to tell me what's going to be important for the longest. If the Space Marine Codex is coming out immediately after 10th drops, okay, well, I mean, that obviously will shake a lot of stuff up, and there's no way to really tell with Space Marines having such a large collection what's going to be good for the first part of 10th and the second part of 10th. So I'm looking more at filling out armies that are going to have this index for longer. Something like, Chaos Demons. I love Chaos Demons. I have so many Chaos Demons, and if I get more time to actually work on them because they're going to be around for longer, that really incentivizes me to, fill out that collection a little bit. Maybe there's going to be the new hotness of Marines, but there's no way to tell which ones are going to be the best. So I'm focusing more first on these, I guess, long-winded armies, the ones that are going to be around for a while, and we're going to have these rules for a while.
Brad, when you're looking at it, what do you look at right off the bat? Do you immediately go to what's the hottest, what's the greatest? Because I know you love to jump.
Our intro is literally me driving the bandwagon. So I'd like to say something different, but I love trying to figure shit out. So I actually like when some new editions drop, new books come out and stuff like that. That's the challenge, is to find all the busted nonsense and the cool combinations and shit like that. So I love shit like that. So I do like running some cool shit, and I do like the fluff quite a bit. So I only play stuff that I like. I typically don't play like Guard and AdMech and stuff like that because I just don't dig their fluff. But like, I really like certain armies. So I like you said, things that'll live long. Sean was talking about things that long. I got called out by Sean Naden once because I was talking about getting an army together on my, my limited budget of turkey sandwiches and diet Dr. Peppers. And I was talking about, well, I don't know what to get, and I don't want to spend too much money if I'm not going to use it. And he goes, man, haven't you played Eldar in every edition for the last 23 years? And I go, yeah. He goes, probably a safe bet if you get some of those painted up, huh? And I go, I mean, you're making logical sense. I go, yeah.
I mean, my belief as a player always is build the depth of your collection as you're going forward. Because if you're at the point where you're like, okay, I have everything that I normally would be playing and I'm going, but man, I only have like one of this model and you can have 3 units of it. Well, maybe this is the time I pick up that second unit to try and expand it out to flush just in case it's good. Because there are people who just play one army, right? They just only play Space Wolves, or they only play Tyranids, or so on and so forth. For them, just keep filling and fluffing and building your army. For the people who jump from army to army to army, you might be in a holding pattern. But if you're just starting out 100% like, hey, I finished this, I'm kind of done building that. I want to try something new for the new edition. Always starting out with the couple HQs that you're very keen on painting and putting together. And the core units are always going to be core units. It never hurts to have them around. That's always been my belief.
And the thing is that one of the things that I think that you can get really behind is by lot. Like, not when I say just a lot, like as an amount, but like people sell armies quite a bit. And buying other armies and then just, stripping them down and making them is the best way financially that I've kept up when I actually do own models. But in that. So also we are wildly behind on delay for some reason. I think when I scheduled this event, I might have done something wrong. I know you're thinking to yourself, Brad, there's no way that happened. You definitely didn't put us on a 500-minute delay, but it could be a thing, guys. I'm just saying. But like, Sean, you play a bunch of different armies, but Horton, you own everything. Both of you guys own like a ton of shit. Also, I want to call this out. Zoobs and Horton are literally going through the attic somewhere in Horton's house.
Hold on, we are at my house upstairs in my game room, and I am trying to organize and straighten some of my collection. So continue on.
Zoobs just sends me random pics here and there of basically entire armies of stuff just that they found. You're like, hey, I found an army. Like an army, like the whole army. Well, you could make an army of it because here's 60 Terminators. Here's every scout pose in metal ever. And I'm like, why do you have these? And why do you have all of them?
So someone was like, oh man, are you really happy to get the new Terminators? And I'm like, I think I own like 100 Terminators. And they're like, there's no way. And I just, without going through the boxes of stuff that's kind of assembled, that's like, I don't know what arms I want to put on these, I just pulled out like 6 squads of assault Terminators and regular Terminators and went, yeah, there's 60. And I didn't pull out Dark Angel Terminators or anything else. It was just, here's 60 Terminators. And I'm like, oh man, by counting, I need 2 more Lightning Claw Terminators. And Zero went, here's a box with like 5 of them in it.
Because why not? But when you don't have that, what do you guys try to do for, if you want to play multiple armies? We have a new edition. Do you just look at what reveals are? Do you look at what hasn't been good traditionally and try to lean into it to make up for some of your hobby holes that you have, I guess, you know what I mean, in your units? Like, what is your guys' thinking?
Yeah, you called me out for having so many armies, and it's true. I have pretty much everything but Drukhari and GSC. And I've owned Drukhari before. I just couldn't get quite into it from a hobby perspective. And I think that's actually a big thing is, if you already have most of that army and you enjoy playing it, even from a competitive player's perspective, you need to start filling out that army. I think Brian's right on that. You need to start filling out that army. For me, that's Tau. You would know it because I'm playing a different army literally every weekend. But Tau is kind of my baby where I have, if Tau's good, I've got it. Whatever it is, I've got it. And I will start playing it. And I won't worry about, does my local store have this? Can I get this cheap on eBay? I will just be playing Tau because I have it. And how I got to that point is I just trolled the Facebook groups. I literally looked for every sweet deal I could on Tau models and snatched it up. I prioritize work first. If it's going to take a ton of work for me to get these boxes, assemble them, paint them to a good degree, and then get them magnetized, then I do steer a little away from that. But if I look and I see it's got 4 squads magnetized, I'm all over it because I can turn that's so much work that I don't have to do, which allows me to just say, sweet, I've got all this stuff for this army. It's ready to go. Moving on to the next one. And I do the same thing.
And that's how I am with Tyranids. Like, I just own it. No other way to put it.
Yeah.
And it's nice because I can just do stuff. But there's always like, I own 6 Pyrovores, right? I don't own 9. And in my head, I'm like, well, I could pick up 3 more of those and like fill that out the rest of the way. And I may or may not own zoanthropes from every generation to the maximum number of units. That was a very hard reality yesterday. But I always find myself going like, there's a few armies I don't own in huge quantity, and I start looking for deals because there's always someone who's either trying to get something or trying to move on from something they didn't enjoy playing, and to pick it up. And as long as it's not a metric ton of work, if it's just primed, it's great. If it's I have to strip it and do a lot of work, I kind of shy away. But at the same time, if it's a deal that I can't pass up, like buying 3 of the large Chaos Knights for $100, I may have bought that and just thrown it on a shelf and went, at some point I might get to that because it was a good deal. So I do own a lot of stuff. I've been playing for a plethora of time, and I've only ever really sold off 2 armies, and I regret both of them to this day because I'm, want to own them all. Very Pokemon related there answer, but
them all.
I recently have said that, oh man, I don't enjoy playing Imperium very often. When I play it, I kind of enjoy playing all the Xenos armies. So I know that at some point this year, I'm just going to buy a full Votann army.
Yeah, I've done the same thing, and I actually took advice from Brad, which is really a gamble sometimes.
You're welcome.
It really can be a gamble, but don't sell your armies. If you enjoy the army and maybe it has a downswing, like for example, Tyranids right now, don't sell them. Take a little break, do some hobby, wait for them to come back because you'll regret it every time. Every time you sell an army.
I have been through every edition change, and sometimes your favorite army for the beginning of an edition is just hot trash. And then all of a sudden you get your book and it's like, oh, I can do 173 bajillion mortal wounds. Well, this is going to be fun.
Right.
And you get your time in the sun for a little bit, and then it comes back down to earth, hopefully. But enjoy your armies while you have them. And if it's something that, like, if you're a one army person, and there's a lot of players out there that are one army people, lean hard into the things that are good in them and fill your army out, because it'll come around. It will 100% come around.
You heard that, Dark Reapers?
They were really good for a long time. They needed the moment of break. They needed
they were very good for a long time. You know who wasn't? Poor Trigon sitting in his living room having a guy walk in and punch him in the face and go, "You know why?" No, I don't.
I went to one event with Trigons. I got on stream and everybody's like, "Man, those Trigons are better than they look on paper." And I'm like, I'm playing a guy who's playing like Blood Angel tactical squads. Yeah, they seem pretty good against those.
God, dude, I have to go with KR on this one. He goes, I sold all my Warhammer Fantasy Battles armies before it died. No regrets. Old Hammer. Oops. That is literally actually what I did also. I had a bunch of fantasy stuff. I'm like, well, the game no longer exists. Old Hammer. Oh, man, I want to play. I want to play a world. Where's my Chaos Knights? The Night Valiant has been waiting for so long. I mean...
Oh, he's been in jail. He's been in jail for... As long as I've played this game, that model has been in jail. Like, bad jail.
The Night Valiant has gotten so many fake numbers at the bar. Just so many.
Wraith Knight still paying for 7th edition? Yes, they are.
Yes, the Wraith Knight. We have 4 sitting at Snakes collecting dust. Well, you know what? We said it with the Knights, and we said it with a couple other things. What model has been bad for the longest? Because I'll give you mine that now got good in 9th, which was the Mandrake for Dark Eldar. Because that bad boy was awful for a long time. Yeah. Ultimate fluff, by the way, because he's literally the boogeyman for creepy Dark Eldar. He's what scares them.
Bad for a long time.
I need to know that. I should put up. I'm gonna put up a poll for this, but then I have to figure it out.
A unit that's been bad for a long time, and it has been infinitely since probably 4th edition, is Tactical Marines.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, for a unit that should be that was at one point the backbone of a Marine army, it's been bad for a long time.
Banshees were bad for a long time too. That is true. Before now, Banshees were pretty horrific.
I'm trying to think of what else.
Both. I think that Anna goes, you're saying percentage life or literal time? I would actually go with both.
Yeah.
I mean,
Percentage of
either
its
or.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Pyrovore was terrible for 3 editions.
Tycho, yeah. That is true. Drakari non-bird Beastmaster units are horrific. Also, one of the things that totally pisses me off, I did it with the Blake and I, which I'm definitely promoting tonight because we're going to put out a 6-part podcast, all 6 of the lore videos that we're doing. And when we did the Dark Eldar, I already ranted about this. In Dark Eldar fluff and the stories and stuff, the Beastmasters are literally running around with these gigantic half-demon mutant creatures that they got from different planets. And in the game, they have this, like, little squad of Sharpays that they sick on people. You're like, man, get out of here with this crap. Get your chihuahua, your vicious chihuahua off me. Look at the books. This dude's literally got, like, half freaking Carnifex, half Bloodthirster meld together, and he's riding it into battle in the arenas. And then in the game, you're like, bark, bark, bark. You're like, oh, man, this makes me sad. Oh, Storm Guardians. Storm Guardians have sucked since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, the Marauder Destroyer has been bad for a long time, Zuber. That's correct.
I don't even know what that is. Are you making that up? Is that like did you just put words together?
It's a Forge World model. It's a some not good. Non-Forge World Hellhounds as well. Yeah. Guard have had a lot of units that have not been
Vulcan, Emperor, smash, smash, big gun, clop, clop. But I'll make fake things up also if we're gonna do that.
Yeah, I love how the discrepancy between Forge World models is like, oh, this is broken beyond a belief, or oh, that's gonna sit on a shelf. And then you just keep going to the next one.
I can always go with the Hierophant Biotitan, who's been bad since the day he was released. I almost brought him to the Invitational, but I got yelled at by Ogden to at least somewhat try. All right, so as a TO, the quick getting ready for the edition change. The entire thing every TO waits for is everyone kind of giggles and laughs when I say this. He's like, we don't look at the rule book at first. We put all the rules to the side. Then we go to the terrain section and open it up and go, is our terrain still valid? And as it sits right now, my entire hope is that everything stays in a playable state and they bring back some terrain like forests. We've already seen that pipes are going to be able to be used, and just scattered debris fields and stuff like that become usable again, because I have tables worth of terrain that I would like to see make it back onto a table. And I would love some of the tables that we have that are absolutely gorgeous, well-painted tables that were really good for many, many editions come back to being usable. And I can use some of our Du Bois tables from Chris that are gorgeous tables, absolutely expertly painted, absolutely phenomenal, but they just didn't work this last edition. I want to see that stuff come back around. The big thing we always do is make sure our terrain's playable, see what we have to do right off the get-go. If we have to make adjustments, how we can do it on the fly, quick. Is it just bringing back in old terrain? Is it, hey, we need to invest very rapidly into some new stuff to update a few things? And how can we do that the most economical way? Because clearly building terrain is a money and time thing, so you have to kind of look at that. And then the next thing we look at is, okay, let's look at the missions. Do we need to invest in new objective markers? Is there something different changed here? Is there a way that we can, like, as we know that they've said that the objective markers can't move through them now, right? That 40 millimeter base can't move through them. Should we mod up some just 40 millimeter tall pillars for every table to go, hey, that's the piece, you can't move through it. This is clear, so you don't have to worry about it on the tabletop. Little things like that are what we look at. Then we go back into the rules and start going, okay, what might need an explanation? what seems like it's a little convoluted and a little might need some clarification. Then once all these indexes hit, going through, going, okay, where's the complicated problems where people are going to ask questions? Believe it or not, those rules questions for interactions are near the end of where everything comes in, even though they're the most trying part of a tournament sometimes. You can make adjustments on the fly and read and go through that. But when you go to set up your event, you need to have your objective markers, your terrain, and everything set and ready to go, because you don't want to have to make adjustments right there on the spot the morning before you're going live.
You know what? I'm going to jump to the wall real quick, guys. I'm going to jump on this question before it gets too late for us, because Starler goes, are you guys going to jump in straight into 2K games or dip your toes into smaller games first? I am a big believer in proxy K, like a madman. TTS, just using things as counts as. Before you're starting new projects with new armies, either new armies, new additions, whatever, you know what I mean? When you're not sure about things, definitely put it on the table using counts as, or TTS is really nice for that because they have everything. But don't put money down for things. So I'll definitely play 2K games, but I will see what I want to use and try things out. Also, it's a new edition. Don't let anybody tell you that something's good, bad, or different. Make your own decisions on shit. Like, I just hate when someone tells you not to use a model and somebody's like, oh, it's, you know, so-and-so talking head told me I wasn't allowed to use that. Punch them right in the throat and then put it on the table. Just decide for yourself. Maybe it does suck, but like, put it down. Also, the rule...
like I'll use a prominent internet place was like, oh, with Tyranids, when the book came out, these things are trashed here. And it was like, all of a sudden they were like, oh, well, people weren't using them. And then you showed up with them and people were like, wow, those are really good. They're scoring you points like left and right. And it's like, yeah, lictors are not amazing. They're not like gonna storm the castle and win you the game, but they can score you 15 points, which can win you the game. And people were like, oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden, every tournament winning list for a little bit had a couple lictors in them. And then all of a sudden, they were A tier on a lot of people's lists when they readjusted their lists. It's quite interesting to see. Play what you like, play what you think works for you, and move forward.
Right. I think that's actually a really good point, is playing what you like in the beginning of an edition and getting it on the table. I mean, if it works out, great. Now you're playing models you love and they're fantastic. And, you know, if it doesn't, okay, then figure out how to make it work from there. Figure out, you know, other models you could like. Get it on the table, see what it looks like. But Brad made a very good point that I struggled with when I was starting, which is I kept trying all these different things. And if you're buying all the models, that from experience really hurts your wallet. And we have great tools now of TTS, which, you know, minimal investment, huge returns. I get to play with models nearly every week that maybe I don't have yet. And I get the, you know, the foreknowledge of, hey, do I need to spend the money on this? Do I need to spend, more importantly, the time putting it together and painting it? And I get to figure that out way before I never have to take it to a game with somebody else in real life.
And the one thing I always tell people is, like, people were poo-pooing Desolation Marines right off the bat. And I'm like, well, if you don't want to buy the big box set, throw 10 regular Marines down and just go, those are my Desolation Marines. I want to try them out in the game and go. And that's where I agree with Brad on proxy hammer with your friends and try it out and go. Because I'm running a 10th edition GT 2 weeks after the edition drops. I mean, it's pretty straightforward that I've been getting questions from people of like, are you going to allow, you know, minor counts as? And I'm like, absolutely. Or are you going to allow unpainted units if paint score is still in? And I was like, I'm probably going to allow 2 unpainted units because I think that hobby lag's a real thing. And people are like, well, what are you going to do then for, you know, best painted? Put your best 1,000 points on your board and put it up there. And I will judge that. Because it's 2 weeks. It is very difficult for, especially like I'll use Matt Aaron as a good example. For him to get an entirely new unit on the board in 2 weeks isn't happening, right? That's just, it's not to his level of work that man does. 100% conversion work. It's just not happening. But to say, hey, bring something along that you're in the middle of working on and you may not have fully painted, and I'm just going to judge 1,000 points here, 2,000. It's going to make those people happy. And there's going to be the difficulty of getting a unit. We all know that's going to happen. So, like right now, you can't get a lot of the Space Marine stuff. It's just like I work at a store, I run a store, I order for a store. Space Marine stuff's just not showing up when you order it. If I order 10 boxes of it and I get 2, I get really happy. So hobby lag is going to be a little bit real at the beginning of the edition. We'll all deal with it and move on. When you're playing with your buddies, proxy it, try it out, move forward.
For sure. I can't stress that enough. Plus the thing is that right now, I practice like this anyways, but for a new edition, everyone, you're going to have to reset a lot. Like full games aren't going to be the thing on that because you're going to fuck up all kinds of rules. Everybody is, because they're slightly different. The way you charge, the way you pile in, the way you consolidate, all different now in the new edition. So like small things, the things that you'll end up messing up the most are the things that are just a little bit different than they used to be.
Yep.
And you're used to doing them another way. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a lot of stores, and I've seen this, and I think Toledo Game Room is one of the places by you, Brad, that's doing it. They're having a midnight release party with like pizza and come out and hang and try your rules out that night. Bring an army with you. Spend a couple hours with your friends. Play 2 turns. You don't have to play the whole game. Play 2 turns. Get a feel. Play a 1,000-point game. Play a 500-point game. Get a handle and a feeling for things. And heck, if 3 of you want to play the game, you're playing one army, it's 2,000 points, and 3 of you are on one side of the table and 3 are on the other, you're all learning together.
I'm so excited to play games at Brandon's house when we do the stream. We do the extended long marathon stream. And then I want to have some sort of counter up at the top for the amount of rules we fuck up during any game.
Oh, man.
I don't know how to make it interactive, but I want to see how many we can just be like, well, double digits achieved by turn 2. Good job, guys.
Yeah, we're going to get people like, this is the best 40K has to offer? Like, really? Yeah, we're going to make the same mistakes as you guys. I mean, it's just going to happen.
Yep. I can say this in all honesty. I'm a rules guy. I read the rules. I study the rules as a judge. I don't know every rule. I would love to, in my head, say I've read every rule, because I probably have, but I guarantee it, you're going to bring me something at some point in time where I go, what? I need to reread that. I don't remember. It's something obscure. Give me a second. And that's going to happen a lot with the new edition, where it's like, okay, yeah, because Brad, for the first 4 days of the different 87 types of woundings, lethal, critical, devastated, we all got them confused for the first couple days. And then we were like, okay, so it's this, and we focused on one and remembered it. Then next day focused on the next one. It's tough because Universal Special Rules have been out for 2 editions. We haven't had them. Now they're back. You got to relearn some things.
Love it. I love it all. Also, Anna, you owe me at least one streaming video for that weekend, because we're going to definitely be going live to your place at some point in time. Exactly. Brad's house jumping with randos. So awesome. What did you expect? I'm going to show up with a van full of people and just wait for Brandon and Eloise to start tasing everyone. No, get out of here. We needed people to stream. It's going to be awesome. I'm ready for it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Someone is going to have to sponsor Brad, adopt a streamer for rules violations. But I like it, though, because I like playing on stream. I mean, even though the internet's occasionally a little bit of a dick.
Occasionally, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally.
I do like interacting with people and hanging out, so it's nice.
Yeah.
Eloise. Brandon goes, you better not.
I plan on streaming as well, Brad. So we're going to be doing the minute everything pops into the store.
We will get a schedule on that. We will definitely have a schedule, because we're going to have some of us that are going to be playing later than others. Because I want to get, if it's not like a fully marathon, it's going to be a pretty marathon. You know what I mean? Where we're going to have most of the time shit running. So then we also have a charity that we're going to rock out. That's Brendan's in charge of that. So we will do stuff and things and all of the other things.
Absolutely.
Or just remember, if someone gets a rule wrong, they're probably cheating. You could do like John DeFrank calls me out for this all the time. He goes, "You're always cheating, Brad, but always for the other person." He goes, "Every time I come up to your table, you're screwing something up, but it's never in your benefit." He's like, "You're terrible, but for the other person." Why? Figure it out.
I actually like what Steve says here. In the NFL, they have a word for cheating. It's called a penalty.
Oh man, you should start throwing penalty flags on the table.
Can we have that? Is that something we can have at Brandon's house?
I mean,
just
it's
someone throws a giant thing
100%.
on the table. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm down with that.
And the best is you see a penalty flag come out, and then all of a sudden the other guy's like, "Oh no, challenge that."
Challenge.
Yeah, we got a challenge flag. Yeah, all right, let's do it.
I am down for all of these things. All right, now's the time to promote your things.
So the Salt City GT coming up the 7th, 8th, and 9th of July will be a 10th edition 40K tournament. We have space for up to 100 players. We're at 40 right now. I expect that to start ticking up real fast. Tickets are available at thesaltcitygt.com. It is in Syracuse, New York. Really nice hotel, lots of stuff to eat around, and the fun part about it is it's a 7-round event. 3 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. Nice part about Saturday night is we're also having board game night afterwards, so you can hang out with friends after going out to dinner. We're going to be there late doing that. It's going to be a ton of fun. We also have Age of Sigmar, Marvel Crisis Protocol, and Kill Team.
That's a lot of stuff.
It
And
is.
things. I'll be there.
100% you'll be there. And the thing I'm going to tell everybody is that day one, we're going to have 3-hour rounds. It's the first GT of a new edition. I may be slightly lax in time.
You know what? I'm gonna have. I don't know if Tom's coming, but I think he's coming, and I'm gonna take most of the time, and Tom will still figure out a way to be done in 22 minutes.
Well, and then I've got my deal. I've got Dice with Rice. We're going to be going over how to simplify the start of the edition. I've also got some tools to help people remember, hey, what is a sustained hit? Hey, what is devastating wounds? What's a lethal hit? And I've got some good ways and some good videos coming up that we can remember that as we inevitably make horrible mistakes.
Let's see. Can I have those videos right now? Because I've been yelled at every day because I've screwed up the new terms every time. So,
right. Well, Dice with Rice has got you. We're going to get it. We're going to get it done. We're going to get some cheat code-esque things to help us remember it.
all of the things, some of the stuff, everyone. As usual, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Please like, subscribe, help us get to the goal, or at least the mini goal. We're so close. I need 1,000 folk, and then we can do more things and or stuff. And it makes me happy. So all of this, some of the things, and until next time, we will see you.